We're back on the air, heard throughout the world on the World Wide Web, and this is Radio Entrepreneurs. My name is Jeffrey Davis. I'm the host. Our next guest, someone you know, I don't know them, but I'm going to get to know them, is Christie Dustman of Christie Dustman and Company. Welcome.
Thank you.
Do you want to tell us about the company?
I am a landscape designer, and I have a landscape design and build and maintenance company in Boston.
And so does that mean you both design and then build out?
Yes. So I'm capable of taking a project from that very first conversation where you're talking about what you need, what works on the site, what doesn't, what problems need to be solved. From that moment through designing the solution to implementing it and then actually being able to take care of a garden after it's been installed.
So do you use contractors, or do you do it all yourself, or how do you manage that? I mean, that's a lot of work.
Yes, good question. So within my company, we do all the design work, and I have a crew of 6, and we do all the plant work. But I do work with 2 different companies that I subcontract with that does the heavy lifting or the hardscape installation. So any
Walls and things
stonework
like that,
or
yeah.
patios.
What's your background? Because that's quite, I used to do work years ago. I don't know if you remember them with City Gardens.
Yes.
What's your background? Because there's a fair amount of knowledge that you have to do what you do.
Yes. So that kind of gets into how did I get into this field, but my training as a landscape designer is I have graduate level training through what was called Radcliffe at the time, which was associated with Harvard and is now at the Boston Architectural Center, so the Landscape Institute. And I am a nationally certified landscape designer, meaning that I've been vetted by my peers after a board review. So I do have a lot of training about the technical aspects of landscape design, as well as a kind of a computer chip in my brain when it comes to plant material.
Really? So it sounds like quite an accomplishment to get your peers to approve you.
Yes.
I mean, because most peers hate to have more competition.
Yes. So I had to put together 3 projects that had been in the ground for at least 5 years and that were photographed and present all supporting evidence and documentation for those projects, as well as documenting my business.
Well, were you always a landscaper? I mean, is this what you wanted to do from the time you were 3 years old, or how did you get it?
So I grew up with parents who had both grown up on farms, and so they were avid gardeners. And as a child, it was a source of much torture, having to go out and pick vegetables or strawberries or raspberries or.
So it wasn't a
weed the
dairy
garden.
farm.
No, it was not. It was in the suburbs. I
Right.
grew up in the suburbs in upstate New York, but with parents who really appreciated the outdoors. And so as a kid, I was forced to assist them, and I did not enjoy that. And
So you rebelled and became a landscape architect.
well, my first career was as a therapist. So I, with chagrin, I did go to Cornell, and unfortunately, I took absolutely nothing related to science. I mean, they have a landscape architecture program there, and one of the best agricultural schools, which I took nothing. I was a psychology major. So about 17 years ago, I had a brainstorm to leave social work and start looking at going into the field of landscaping, and kind of inadvertently started my own business.
Christie, if somebody wants to utilize your services or just talk to you about how they can make their environment more what they're looking for from an environment, how would they find you?
I would suggest they come to the website. So it's christiedustman.com.
Right.
Or email me directly at christie@christiedustman.com.